There's one thing that is absolutely essential to the generation that we live in, and for that means every generation, and it is the Spirit-blessed preaching of the gospel. Our world today does not stand in need of more psychologists behind the pulpit. Our world does not stand in need of more entertainers behind the pulpit. Our world does not stand in need of more men to tell stories behind the pulpit. Our world does not stand in need of men to promote social justice activist causes behind the pulpit. But what our world needs is preachers in the pulpit that will preach the gospel of God's amazing grace. And this is the need for every church, for your church and every other church alike. Men that will preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. The man who preached and the man who penned these words that we have just read here in Romans was consumed by the gospel of Christ. The man who was so zealous as a Pharisee is now zealous for Christ. This man, the Apostle Paul, that wrote this letter to the Romans, he was a man that breathed the gospel. He thought the gospel. He spoke the gospel. He lived the gospel. And ultimately, he would die for the gospel. To the Apostle Paul, Christ was not just a cherry on the top of his life, but Christ was his life. We read that in